You know, the war is for us around the corner. And it is absolutely needed to say first, there is no reason for this aggression of Russia against Ukraine. We condemn deeply the war against Ukraine and our solidarity with the people in Ukraine, but our solidarity is also with the people in Russia which are fighting against the war. And it is great to say and to see that thousands of Russian people are going on the streets under very repressive conditions. For the first time yesterday, we had a protest manifestation in front of the Lomonosov University by students of this university. We had many, many people in many cities of Russia which are going on the street, like in our country. We had more than 100,000 on the streets in Berlin last Sunday, and we are preparing with you the protest action next week. We have protest action days in Germany and in many cities and countries of Europe. And this is absolutely necessary. Let me say it in one word sentence. The period, the 30 years period after the Cold War is over. We are coming now in a new period of a very aggressive politics. And definitely it is absolutely needed to condemn the Russian aggression. But it's also necessary to say the conditions that this aggression happened was developed by the Western countries, above all by NATO. The NATO enlargement, the NATO expansion to the east, and not to take care of Russian security interests is a main reason for this war. And NATO is now using the chance not only to become even stronger than as the military alliance of the world, but start with a dramatic, intensive new arms race. And my country, Germany, is definitely in the forefront. We never had an enlargement of the military budget, then it will be in the next year. We have a special fund now for 100 billion euro we never had, and the enlargement of the weight of the military budget from 1.25% to more than 2%. This means instead of 50 billion every year, we will spend 80 billion. And that's in such a situation where the poorest in the world become more poor and where the climate crisis is absolutely not solved. We all were listening to the new IPCC report, which dramatically underline in which big danger the world is. And when I'm looking to these conditions, I can only say the way of armament race, the way of wars is the wrong way. And let me underline that we are opposing these wars and are fighting on the street. But we are also absolutely against these double standards, our official politics and our governments. The governments say, okay, we want a peace in Ukraine, and they are doing wars all around the world. I'm happy that you mentioned Afghanistan and Yemen. And I'm happy, we need to say these politics of double standards, condemning these wars and preparing all the other wars in the world, in Africa and Asia and other countries, even in Central Europe. These are really double standards. And we said no to these double standards. We want peace. So we are strongly against more weapons to the Ukraine. We are strongly against sanctions, because sanctions are against the poor people. Poor people and the normal people are suffering by sanctions. So what is needed is a peace process. First of all, stop the war, ceasefire, and reduction of the Russian troops. But we need in Europe, and I think not only in Europe, a new politics of common security as the alternative of war and arms race. Common security means I'm only secure, I'm only safe when my partner is also safe. We have to work together. Security is, you can only get security in a double pack, your security and the security of your neighbor. And that is the alternative to this brutal war in Ukraine, but also for the alternative, for the arms race, and for further NATO expansion, which will lead us to more wars. So my call tonight is, please go on the street, protest against the war. Let us unite in a worldwide peace movement for peace and disarmament, for common security, and to stop this brutal war in the Ukraine. Peace is the alternative. And to follow with the last sentence of the German Nobel Peace Laureate, Willy Brandt. He said in his famous speech when he got the Nobel Peace Prize, war is the top of irrationality. Rational is only peace. Let us fight for peace, and thank you so much for the invitation tonight.